Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? There's a famine in the land. The Bible says there would be. Jesus said it in Matthew 24, said there'll be false Christs and false prophets shall rise, and they shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences or plagues or diseases, and earthquakes in divers places. Well, a famine has come to the South Sudan. It's sad. It's a very sad situation. Thousands of families in South Sudan have been caught up in the famine. Sarah Ditt and her 10 children are hiding from gunmen in the swamps and the islands of the River Nile. The refugees have a steep price. Families cannot farm the crops or earn money to buy food. They eat water and lily roots and the occasional fish. Last week, the United Nations declared that parts of South Sudan are experiencing famine, the first time the world has faced such a catastrophe in 6 years. Some 5.5 million people, nearly half of the population of that country, will not have a reliable source of food by July. And the disaster is largely man-made. Oil-rich South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, plunged into a civil war in 2013 after the president, Salva Kiir, fired his deputy, Riek Machar. Since then, fighting has fractured the country along ethnic lines. Inflation has topped 800% last year, and war and drought have paralyzed the agricultural industry. Also, folks, there's 100,000 people right now, the United Nations says, face immediate and imminent starvation in those countries of Lear and Mayandit, which is a greater unit. It's in those areas of the South Sudan. That's along the Sudan border, okay? Now, the children are sick, but what can we do? There are no hospitals. We can't move far from where we're at because they're hiding, because if they get out trying to find food or water or try to get out there somewhere, they're going to get killed. They're literally just drinking the water in the river and eating the roots of lily pads. These folks are down to the end. Now, the United Nations, UNICEF, which is a subsidiary of the United Nations, are realizing the problem, but they don't know what to do, or they can't get in there, or it's just a terrible situation. And they can't plant food because you can't get out and work the fields, you get killed. It's a war that is of a biblical proportion, and it's affecting the nation of South Sudan. I want you to pray for these folks. This is what I'm talking about. Again, whenever you have these rebels and when you have these conflicts, look who suffers every time. The innocent, the weakest among us, the women, the children, the elderly, pay the great price for the evil, corruption, and the dark, deep crevices of the human existence. Please pray for South Sudan. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're living in the last days.